Hi Gemini, welcome to your March 2023 Taroscope, Astro-Tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. So, these are for your sun, moon and ascendant, but you are going to want to check your ascendant first because we're going to be talking about some of the astrology. So check your ascendant first. To a lesser degree, your sun and moon will still be relevant for you, though maybe in slightly different ways. Remember, they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, as ever, I like to keep it fresh, I like to keep it moving, I like to keep it funky. Let me know, do you love it or loathe it? Because this is the way that things are going to be from here on in, and there is more content. I promise, new stuff, and there is new stuff coming, all right? So you're going to have to let me know, do you love it or do you loathe it? With that said, we are going to get straight into it. So the first transit that I'm going to look at here for you is the movement of Saturn on March the 7th, moving into the sign of Pisces. This is a big deal because it's a 2.5-year transit and Saturn is a heavy hitting planet, right? For you personally, this is moving into your 10th house of career. This is all about your social status. It's how you show up in the world. It's the part of you that people meet when we're talking about your work, your career, and your legacy of the world, right? So to give you an example, Radiant Reality is me fulfilling my 10th house. That's my career. It's my public persona, the way that people see me in my professional sphere, and also my status, right? As a business owner, as a, whatever it is that I kind of am. It's still so crazy to me that I have, like, someone said to me, a client said to me yesterday, like, you're nearly at the 100,000 subbies mark. And I was like, yeah, I know, it's so weird. It's amazing and I love it and I'm super grateful, but it's mind-boggling sometimes. But for all of you who are subscribers, it really does mean a lot. Thank you so much for being here. So, and for those of you that are new, welcome. All right, so the fact that you've got Saturn, hard work, structure, boundaries, limitations, but Saturn is also, it's a catalyzing energy in that it makes you get responsible for wherever it is, right? So over the next 2.5 years, you are going to get a lot more responsible when it comes to your career. You're going to get a lot more serious about this area of your life. This is going to see you having to work harder than normal, and maybe for what feels like not as you like it. Wherever Saturn goes, it basically brings, it's not that it brings less, but you do have to work harder for it, right? And so this is basically say, maybe you have to work harder for opportunities. Maybe you have to really knuckle in and start to home in on what your career is, what your social status or public standing actually is. When people see you, when it comes to the career, when people see you, when it comes to your partnership or your relationship, because being single, partnered, married, business owner, all of those, their statuses, right? So in some way, shape or form, these are going to feel a little heavier than usual, and they might be harder work than you are used to. And the beauty is, if you put in the hard work and the effort, Saturn will give you the goodies, all right? But you've got to put that graft in. So this is where that graft is going to be expected from you. For this transit, you have the Ace of Pentacles, nice, with the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so here's where this gets interesting with my little tarot geek brain and some of the connections that I draw. You got the Ace of Pentacles, that's 1. You got the Seven of Pentacles, that's 8 pentacles so far. The 8 of Pentacles card literally represents work. So this really is about your work. This really is about your public status and your hard efforts that are going to need to be sown. Now, the Ace of Pentacles is basically saying there are big opportunities, but the first year, and this is so interesting because it's the same with a Saturn transit, right? The first year of a Saturn transit is always the hardest, right? It's all because you're really having to readjust to this slow moving energy that really comes in and says no. Yeah, and it really does. You feel it. Like as soon as it comes into a new sign, you're kind of like, oh. Like when it comes in, I've just been dealing with this in my sun sign, so trust me, I can assure you I feel it. The Ace of Pentacles basically says there are new opportunities, but this first year, the Ace of Pentacles is going to be hard work. The Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of patience. It's a card of diligence. It's a card of doing your hard work and often not really feeling like the fruits of that labor show up. There are opportunities to work hard. There are opportunities here to invest as well. Whether this is in property, you know, becoming a property owner, that is an investment, and that is also, it changes your status, right? So there's some kind of shift coming here. And then you've got this with the Five of Wands. One thing that I will say to you, for those of you that work in similar ways to like in the way that I do, if you work with groups, if you work with group associations, those groups are going to suddenly become not necessarily more of a burden, but you are going to start to feel this, like the interactions that you're having with people might demand more from you than you realize they would. So this, you know, pay attention to what's happening this month, because it's going to tell you what that transit is going to give you over the next few couple of years, right? So, yeah, gosh, I was thinking to myself, no, what am I doing? This is what happens when you create new stuff and start to bring it out. You have little moments of, hang on a sec, what am I doing? What am I not doing? All right, so for the 23rd of March, Pluto is going to move into your 9th house, right? So Pluto is moving into the sign of Aquarius, a sibling air sign for you, moving into that 9th house, which is great. Pluto is transformation. Pluto is depth. Pluto is charisma, attraction. But we're not talking about like, oh, look at me, I'm so attractive. This is the deep, intense kind of energy. Now, it does represent death and destruction, but it also represents transformation and rebirth. Pluto coming into your 9th house is going to see you getting really, for some of you, you'll be getting very serious about your belief structures now. You know, about what you believe, how you believe it. It might see you getting more scientific in your beliefs. You know, this might be, remember Aquarius is a scientific sign, and this being your 9th house, maybe you're starting to question the power of prayer on a more scientific level. Maybe you're starting to question what your energy is actually capable or not, as the case might be. This might be where you get really deeply psychological into beliefs and belief structures. It could be as well, because Pluto is a very magnetic energy, and so therefore it's an attractant. It could be where you are starting to attract a more international audience, more international connections, because in the 9th house, this is where we find foreign travel, distant cultures, different lands. It's also the energy of higher education. So for some of you, maybe you decide to go back to school. Maybe you're getting a degree. Maybe you are, gosh, I'm trying to think now. Yeah, like this could be you really thinking outside of the box. When it comes to higher learning, higher philosophies, your philosophies and your belief structures and even like your religious aspects may be going through a big shake-up now. Now, this transit only lasts for about 3 months, because then it's going to dip back into Capricorn, but it will go into Aquarius full-time over the course of from January of 2024. So pay attention to this month especially, but the next 3 months, because it's going to give you a heads up. You're going to get a little hint of that flavor of what it's going to be. You've got the Two of Cups here. So you could be forging new partnerships of an international flavor. You've got the Eight of Wands here. You're definitely forging connections of an international flavour here. People that live overseas, right? Two of Cups, partnerships. Eight of Wands, communication at a distance. This is you building and forging partnerships with people that live at a distance from you. And with that Pluto energy there, you're pulling in business, ideas, connections from overseas, right? Which, hey, listen, don't knock it. It's amazing. So you got the Queen of Wands. Now, the Queen of Wands, usually a fire sign woman, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. This is potentially an international connection that you're making with a fire sign woman that could be very important for you. This might be somebody who comes in and basically says to you, what you're doing is amazing. Here's how we make it better. Now, it is the Queen of Wands, so you might need to set a few boundaries, right? We never want anyone to come into our lives and start, absolutely demolishing things. Although if she's coming in with this Pluto transit, there's something about her that's going to shift change or adapt your world in ways that you can't understand yet. Not even the cards would be able to tell you. You won't know because it's Pluto. It brings everything from the depths, and so there's new things to be discovered here. It might also be that you have some really powerful conversations around spirituality, magic, maybe not so much magic, that's more the 8th house, but around spirituality, religion, beliefs, the power of intention, law of attraction, all of that kind of stuff. All right, so, and then third and final, the biggest transit. So I'm only doing the biggest transits in these of each month. Excuse me. And for the next one, you've got Mars moving finally out of your sign. I'm sure you will be happy to know. And it's moving out of your sign and into your second house of money. Now, this is an interesting one, right? So what this will do is Mars is energy, passion, excitation. It's cuts, removals. It is challenge. It's irritation, excitation, and passion to go after things. Your personal willpower is the energy of Mars, right? It's moving into your second house of finances, money, resources, and self-worth. This could actually see you get really Mars moving into the second always brings a boost to the finances and the money that you're drawing in, whether this is through overtime, new skills, whether it's through a pay rise, all of the rest of it. The challenge that we have with Mars moving into the second is that as good or as quick as the money starts to come in, it can kind of go out the same way. So you got to keep on top of yourself this month, just to make sure that whatever you're pulling in, squirrel a little bit of it always, so that you can say, okay, right, you know what, this has come in, I'm taking this for myself, the rest I'm going to put away. Now, because it's your self-worth and self-belief as well, like how you really value yourself and the things that you value. And you've got, in this space, you've got Cancer energy, right? Which means you guys are actually deeply caring. It's one of the things that a lot of people don't mention about Geminis very often. You value things and people that care for others. This could potentially see you getting a bit too frivolous or generous with your money as well, so just something to be mindful of. But this could also, because it's Mars, right, the energy of removal and excitation and passion, maybe you get more sort of, proactive about making more money, but maybe in a more ethical way or in a way that you feel like makes a difference. On a more personal level, this is going to see you getting really honest about how you actually feel about yourself. And because you've got Pluto moving into your 9th house of your beliefs, this might be that you start to reframe how you see yourself this month, right? This could be a great month to work with a coach, a mentor, maybe to come and do some of my work, some energy work sessions. For this, you have the Knight of Pentacles. So whatever journey you are embarking on of change, it is going to take its time. Look at this. You've got the Knight of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. Neither one of these cards, aside from, the time frame that it represents, neither of these cards is fast moving. All right, so this is slow, steady, patient work. Mars is only going to be in Cancer for about 6 weeks, but I can tell you the process that you begin in this, it's going to be a long, whatever you're setting into motion with this Mars transit, it will be around for a while after. Look at that, the Four of Pentacles, right? Holding on to, hoarding money, saving money. You could get really proactive about a big savings goal that you have this month, which is very possible. Then you've got the Ace of Swords. So there are new opportunities to make money this month. There absolutely are. There's potentially some of you signing on the dotted line over a home or a property or a piece of land, maybe for some of you. Either which way, I actually really like this for you, and I think it could be, if you use it right instead of allowing it to use you, some really good things can come from it. Okay, so for your sections or sectors of the month, for your actions and interactions with the world at large this month, you have, okay, all right, so you've got the Seven of Wands, the High Priestess, okay, and the Three of Wands, right? So in terms of your actions this month, some action or pathway that you decide to take could be called into question this month. Maybe by a friend, maybe by a partner if you have one. It's the reason I say this, right? That Seven of Wands, that's potentially a battle that needs to be fought. with the High Priestess, and it may come from a place or a person in your life that you really don't expect. It could be that there's like a bit of a challenge, or, you know, something that you have to kind of rise up against, or say, hey, listen, you know, actually, I feel like you're overstepping the mark. This could be to do with your work, or potentially with a woman in your life. Now, the High Priestess does suggest that whatever it is that's coming to light, it may not come about in, excuse me, it may not come about in the most clear way. So it might be somebody says to you, oh, you know, so-and-so has basically said this about you, and you're kind of like, what? They, you know, they never said anything to me. And then in confronting them, you kind of realize maybe this person has been a bit of a silent hater in the background for a long time. And it could be, if I'm completely honest with you, because of that Three of Wands, I feel like it's not that they're a secret hater. It's more a case of this person's actually jealous of you. And it's not out of spite or anything. It's more a case of like, I'm jealous because I wish I could have done what you're doing right now. All right, so try not to take it personally, even if whatever is said kind of feels, you know, it will feel personal, obviously. Now, when it comes to your work and studies, you have the Hierophant card. You have the Queen of Cups. That Queen of Cups is very likely to be a Cancerian of some kind. The reason I say that is because the Queen of Cups is a water sign woman, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, who falls on top of the High Priestess, which is the Cancerian card. Now, with this, you've also got the Devil card. Now, I want to say this to you. For those of you that are, in fact, when it comes to the work sector in general, things that you, for some of you, it looks like you could be aligning yourself with a bigger or larger institution. So if you're a business owner, maybe you get picked up by a company, or, you know, maybe you get called in to do a talk or a speech of some sort. It could be big. It could be really nice, because the Hierophant card represents those bigger sort of corporate structures. Awesome. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this could literally be like there's a boss or a superior who's hell-bent on doing something one specific way. And then you come in and you're like, well, actually, you know what? We could do this in a much more efficient manner that would be better for everybody. Be careful this month. I'm not saying censor yourself or edit yourself or any of that. Not in the slightest. In fact, quite the opposite. Just be aware that you may end up stepping on some toes. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I like this for a change or a shift in the culture of whatever studies you are doing. So let's say you're doing women's studies. This could be new things are introduced. So you're kind of like, oh, okay, so there's new models coming in. If you're studying in the tech field, this could be that, you know, maybe that new advanced coding method or whatever it is that's highly experimental is now being offered as a module. There's some kind of shift that comes in that's really breaking what you're used to. For your love and relations, you've got the Hierophant card. If you are single, with the Four of Cups and the Knight of Cups. If you're single, if you've been with me long enough, you know I'm not one of those readers. You know, every week you're meeting a soulmate. This person wants you back and they're thinking about you and you're on their mind. I don't do all of that shit. I can't. It really grates me, to be honest with you. It just helps people feed into their obsessions, and it's actually very unhealthy. Soapbox moment. What this says to me is, if you are single, you are potentially meeting. So in a woman spread, the Emperor represents a husband. If you're single and you are out and about, you know, everybody is in some regard, this month you may very well meet a partner who ends up becoming something very special to you, or potentially becoming a spouse. For those of you that are guys, this is the same kind of energy. You could literally be meeting someone this month who becomes a significant other, who becomes a wife, or who, you know, very possible. Now, the reason I'm going to back this up even more is because you've got the High Priestess as well. That's the universal significator for women as mothers and wives. So, you know, for those of you that are on the same train as me, you know, same-sex partners, etc., you could be meeting somebody who ends up becoming something very special to you. Now, the Emperor, number 4, Four of Cups. You know how you're going to know that this is the person? because you are going to not sleep. Once you've met them, you'll know, and you'll know because you won't be able to get to sleep. All you'll be thinking about is this person. Knight of Cups, a solid offer or declaration of love. So I'm sticking by that. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, you know that there's something on a partner's mind this month, or vice versa. And it's not until you talk it out that you will be able to rest easy. It's nothing scary or nefarious, I can assure you. And once you've had this heart-to-heart, it's going to be like, oh, you know what, I'm really glad that we had that now, because I thought it was this and I built it up to be all of this in my mind. And then they say to you, well, no, I was just thinking about whether we should buy a new car or not because ours is on the way out. And you're like, do you know what I mean? Like, give me something really not trivial, because nothing is trivial really. You know, it could be something that, you know, in hindsight it's really silly, but because you don't know, it's really hyped up in your mind. And then finally, for your money and materials, you've got the 9 of Pentacles, you've got the Ace of Swords, new contract coming in, beautiful, and the King of Pentacles. If you have your own business, King of Pentacles is likely to bring you good money, finances, or resources. This person is likely to be a Taurus or a Capricorn, because you've got the Devil and the Hierophant here. The 9 of Pentacles, there is a chance to make good or extra money this month. There's also a chance for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So there's good finances or resources coming in this month, which is fantastic. That Ace of Swords, if you've got your own business, it will come through a business deal or a contract of some sort. If you work for somebody else, it's likely to come through a pay rise or a promotion, or both. The King Pentacles is always career advancement on a more material level. When it comes to your physical health and vitality this month, this is a month not to just sort of sit back and eat macarons on the sofa, on the chaise lounge. That's what I do. You know, in the background of everyone's mind, they're like, I wonder if that's what his sugar addiction is. It's not, right? It's just me sat there eating luxurious French cookies. No. This month, enjoy yourself, absolutely indulge yourself, but know where the balance point is. All right, that's what you're kind of being urged to do or to consider. And if you are starting any form of new health regime this month, it looks like you'll be able to see it through to a goal. And if you can attach it to a goal, even better, right? Like, so it's like, well, I want to lose 3 stone, or I want to be able to do 5 continuous chin-ups, or, you know, whatever it might be. Okay, so now we are going to look at the weeks of your month. All right, let's break it down. Ooh, okay, so you see that jumping card, and your jumping card is the High Priestess. So what this tells me straight out of the gate is whoever this person is that may have a little bit of a jealous or a challenging eye, it'll come to light pretty quickly. Like that first week of the month, it's likely to come up. Remember, the High Priestess is hidden things revealed. This first week of the month, trust your intuition and your gut. Second week of the month, you've got the World card, right? So this could be either a promotion or a large-scale opportunity of some sort, either in your community or of an international nature that makes itself or its presence known very quickly. Now, here's the thing that I will say to you as well. The High Priestess coupled with the World card, whoever this woman is, she's older than you. Very likely to be older than you. And, you know, I'm sorry to say, and this may be the case, and I hope it isn't, it happens from time to time, right? This could actually be your mother or a sister. It could be like, you know, it's like one of those moments where the call's coming from inside the house. That's how it maybe shows up. Now, in terms of the second week as well, your communities or the groups that you're attached to this month, this second week of March, this is where you will start to need to refine those connections. Third week of the month, you have the Temperance card, right? I love this because this is a change point. And interestingly enough, this is where the month shifts into Aries season. So very, very interesting. All right. The other thing with the Temperance card, Watch out for this third week of the month. That is going to be dramatic. We've got 2 planets, Pluto and Mars, both moving signs in 1 week, like within the space of 2 or 3 days. And that third week of March, for that reason, is going to be dynamic. Your 4th week of the month, you got the Temperance, the Tower card. The Temperance and the Tower card together, that's some sort of dramatic energy that hits a peak. All right, now the Temperance card is not above drama, right? Sometimes it can see you being thrust into the piggy in the middle role. So here in the UK, we call it piggy in the middle. I know a lot of you put in the comments it's something else in the States, and I've forgotten what it is, but it's basically where you end up having to mediate between people. Watch out for that, and if it's not your monkey, let the circus do its own thing. Yeah. All right, so let's have a look at your moons. So, from the Human Design Oracle deck, I'm not going to get into great detail here for the moons, because obviously you're getting your full moon and new moon reports from now on, where I'll go into much greater detail for those. So, for your full moon on the 7th of... Sorry, they're going all over the place. For your full moon on the 7th of March... This for you is happening in your 11th, oh my gosh, come on brain. This for you is happening in your 4th house of home, property, family, and real estate. And for this, you've got the gate 10 and empower. So the message behind this full moon for you, or for certainly from you, is to really just live in your truth, right? This full moon is highlighting how you really feel about something. And the more honest and vulnerable you are around this full moon, the better you will be received, because you're empowering others to be empowered by just being who they are. No embellishments, no need to be or do anything else, but just to be, right? Your new moon message for the 22nd of March is the gate 4 and answer. And I love this card because it's not a prediction. This card is an instruction. The new moon in your 11th is going to show you, it's going to see you getting really honest with yourself about what your bigger or longer term goals are. And if you are trying to find the steps in order to kind of make that happen, the answer card basically says, ask the question of the universe, and then wait until the answer comes back to you from the physical, tangible world. All right. So it can't be a dream. It can't be a feeling. It can't be anything like that. It can be, you know what, do I hire another assistant for my business? Or do I hire, or, you know, do I leave my job to go for a new one? Or do I ask for a pay rise, right? Whatever the question is. And then you're standing in line to pay for your shopping, and you hear 2 people having a conversation that relates directly to the question that you've asked the universe. Or you flick over the TV and it's there in, you know, plain bold letters or whatever. Or you put on the radio in the car and they're talking about exactly what you asked about. You've got to be discerning to say, you know, is this a yes from the universe or a no from the universe? You'll know, right? But that's how the answer has to come to you. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments, do you love it? Do you loathe it? This is the new style from here to come. There are loads of other little tidbits and stuff to come. New content, I promised, and new content is here. So let me know in the comments how you feel about it, whether you love it or loathe it, and I will see you soon. Take care.